Today is International Women's Day. So fellow citizens and residents and all who are here today, we observe today as International Women's Day under the theme, Women in Leadership, Achieving an Equal Future in a COVID-19 World. This theme honors women and girls for their efforts in shaping an equitable future and also honors them for their push to help the world recover from the COVID-19 pandemic. Women, perhaps even more so than men, are standing in the forefront of the crisis as healthcare workers, caregivers, community organizers, and among other things, as innovators. My ministry, and indeed the entire government of St. Kitts and Nevis, we are proud of the women and girls in our federation, and especially now, of those who are putting the needs of this country ahead of their own. On February 20th, I participated in an opening ceremony of the New Lodge Community Center. An agenda item read, Project Overview. Since it was a significant $3.2 million construction project, I instinctively envisioned a man presenting the overview. But I was pleased, in fact, I was pleasantly impressed when a young woman, stepped up to the plate and did her gender and her country proud, demonstrating how far we have come since women's suffrage. Women's suffrage is the right of women to vote in elections. Beginning in the mid-19th century, aside from the work being done by women for broad-based economic and political equality and for social reforms, women sought to change the voting laws to allow them to vote. National and international organizations were formed to coordinate efforts towards that objective. For example, the International Women's Suffrage Alliance was founded in 1904 in Berlin, Germany, fighting for suffrage, some people say suffrage, as well as for equal civil rights for women. Quite frankly, we can boast today of how far women have come in 100 years, but we know that there is still much more work to be done. The United Nations first celebrated International Women's Day in 1975. Although campaigns for gender equality, as I said earlier, admittedly began in the earliest 20th century. This day not only serves to uplift women, but it is one that encourages women collaboration with key partners to discuss matters that affect women and girls, one that supports philanthropic efforts, one that promotes women's well-being, and of course, one that calls everyone to action that fosters positive change in the lives of women. Today, more than ever, women have demonstrated their skills and knowledge to effectively help the world navigate and recover from this pandemic. They have greatly impacted the difficult decisions that governments have had to make, and it's therefore no surprise that most of the countries that have been successful so far in curbing COVID-19 are headed or co-headed at the technical, scientific, and political levels by women. At this point, therefore, I want to applaud all women, those who engage in ensuring the safety and health of our citizens and residents. And I specifically recognize the leadership of our Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Hazel Laws, for whom I welcome a round of applause. Our current successes must never cause us in our celebration to ignore that the United Nations estimates that there is about 70% of the 1.3 billion people living in poverty in the world are women. The publication goes on to say that at least 120 women in developing countries are underweight. in some regions, more women are underweight than others, and that the rest of the population. For example, 60% of women are underweight in South Asia, according to the Ransom and Elder report. And of course, we know that biologically, women are more likely to be malnourished, especially if they are pregnant or lactating. In such circumstances, we know that women have greater micronutrient requirements and need more adequate protein intake to be able to support that period in their lives. Not my words. The FAO has published that in its report. When women are pregnant or lactating, the need to consume more calories and support the development of their babies and the production of breast milk is important, the report went on to say. This biological reality should have caused women to be more vulnerable to COVID-19. I was therefore flabbergasted to learn that the vulnerability index in men was far greater than in women, at least in the early stages. But then I learned that it is only a derivative of the gender-based compliance, the conformity of women. I took that to mean that women are more obedient. Or at least, they follow the protocols much better than men. Study after study indicate that women make up more than 2/3 of the world's 7 million illiterate people. On an average, they receive low wages, are often left behind in the decision-making process, and among other things, are often the ones who suffer because of domestic violence. Based on historical events, therefore, it is easy to point a finger at men for some of these inequalities. However, in today's reality, in order for us to overcome inequality, both men and women must share the responsibility. Some might say the burden. One noted American actress is quoted as saying that the thing women have yet to learn is nobody gives you power. You just have to take it. Of course, this does not mean that you must be rude or infringe on the rights of others while advancing yourself. And undoubtedly, some will argue that there still exist institutional barriers that hinder any woman from furthering herself. But there are some of us who will argue otherwise. Nonetheless, like the woman of 1904 through 1908, who campaigned for change that ultimately led to this day when women can vote, I'm encouraging all women and girls to pursue your dreams and never, ever give up. Tomorrow's women and girls will be the beneficiaries of your struggle today. This is not a time to give up. Your Team Unity government understands how crucial it is to include women and girls in any decision-making process. This, of course, is reflected in the makeup of our own parliament and our cabinet. And if you look at our permanent secretaries, that's dominated by women, and at every other tier in government. So the government understands that. Furthermore, government through its Department of Gender Affairs provides support to women and girls and offer special care to those who fall victims of domestic violence, including finding safe and secure lodging and further ensuring that there is economic support. Also, those who become teen mothers are guided through the Teen Viola Project. We facilitate them through their educational development and, of course, providing other services to those teen mothers. The government takes it seriously, providing support for its women and girls. I would therefore like to thank all of the women and girls who have continued to chase their dreams, making change, and I say a big thank you to all those who have helped them along the way. I want to invite you, all of you, to join me in applauding the women of our Federation as we celebrate International Women's Day. Let us give them a hand. And since I'm here for just brief remarks, I will leave you with what I will describe is a philosophical way to differentiate your real virtue. And it is this. I sit at the top and you are sitting at the bottom. That goes for anyone. For you to get to the top, I can throw you down a rope, but I'll have to pull you up. Or I can put you down a ladder. You can climb up. The choice you make to get to the top makes a fundamental difference in how you function when you get to the top. Whether you be subservient because someone had to pull you up, or whether you stand on your own 2 feet because you climbed up. Women and girls, let no one pull you up. Choose the ladder and climb up. Thank you.